Reporting day is one of the more exciting times of the year for college football fans and coaches and players. You go back to signing day, you go back to spring practice, but there's such a span of time from the end of spring till the start of fall, and everybody reads the magazines, reads the papers, sees the TV reports, gets on the internet and starts talking about the buildup of preseason polls and who's healthy and who had a good summer and who's eligible academically, and it just means that it's back. It's time to start over. All of our guys got in today on time. We're really, really excited about their attitude. You go back and look at our off season, there was a tremendous amount of carryover between the bowl game and spring practice with the off season. And then it carried into spring practice. We probably had our most physical spring practice and were able to stay healthy. And then last summer, we did not have as good a summer as we needed. There were too many distractions, and we feel like it's a great show of leadership and carryover that we didn't have any problems off the field this summer. So we're proud of the leadership of this group, and we think that on and off the field that is coming out, and the kids are proud of it too, as I talked to them at 1 o'clock today. In the press conference the other day for the kickoff luncheon with the Austin Sports Commission, some of you asked about me being mad at the bowl game and would I continue to be mad. In thinking about it, really and truly, our team was mad. And the coaching staff was mad because we did not play up to the standards that we want to at times last year, and specifically in the last game. And we felt like that all we needed to do as a group was pick it up and go back to work. So it wasn't about me. It wasn't about anything specifically, except that wasn't the standard that we have set here for many, many years at the University of Texas. And instead of me getting the credit for tying that together, those kids got up every morning at 6 and they worked really hard, and the coaches worked really hard, and we pulled together as a group and played better than we did at certain times during the year, and that's what we've got to continue to do. There were some questions the other day about whether we like to play young players or not. We're going to play the best players, but splitting practice tomorrow is one of the reasons that we feel like we can have a closer look at each individual player in the first 2 days of orientation. And then also in the afternoon group, we'll have some of the younger guys, and that will be more involved in the kicking game. So we can actually see if we feel like some of those guys, you check your snappers, you check your holders, you check your kickers, you check all of the things that they might do as gunners or protectors on the punt team and so forth. But the teams will be split up, so the freshman may be the first in line in that afternoon group, and a young receiver, a young defensive back would get much more attention in this type practice than he would if he's in a 2.5-hour practice with the older guys. The guys will wake up at 4:30 in the morning. They'll be on the field at starting practice at 6. They'll be out there about an hour and 15 minutes. Some of that is to beat the heat in the morning. The other is because we still have guys in summer school for another week. So guys that have morning classes would not be able to practice at 9 or 10. So we'll have to adjust really early and really late with our class schedules like we have in the past. And it'll be the same at night. The night practice will start around 6 o'clock as well and probably finish around 7:15 or 7:30. Luke Pellman hurt his ankle early in the All-Star game, but finished, and he should be full speed tomorrow. Greg Davis is going to be full speed. He overcame his appendicitis. Antoine Cobb will be the only player that's limited, and he is still limited because of his knee. And he'll be out there but limited, and hopefully we can get him back. So we're coming in really healthy after having great summer workouts. It is Will Muschamp's 37th birthday, so the players will be excited about them kicking off the season with his birthday today. And coaches do have to come back right after an appendicitis, and they do have to work on their birthdays, so that's no different than the media. A couple of freshmen that we've talked to about positions, and we found out today where they wanted to play. Brian Robeson had looked at running back and linebacker, and he would like to start at linebacker out of Brenham. And DJ Monroe had looked at corner and wide receiver, and he would like to start at wide receiver. So Brian will work with the linebackers tomorrow night, and DJ will work with the receivers tomorrow night. And DJ and Ryan would be involved in kicking game as well. We'll continue to, and we will be in all shorts for the first 2 days. We'll go in shoulder pads and shorts on Wednesday and Thursday, and then we can go one practice in pads on Friday, and then start our 2-a-days on Saturday. There will not be a depth chart, as there was not in the bowl game, and we'll continue to work to try to get everybody up to our standard, but we will not have the not our standards the first week as well, because we'd like for the freshmen to learn what that means before we start having an entire team do up-downs, because the young ones have never been through that. So part of the other reason we're dividing our team up and going through this orientation period, we'd like for the young ones to learn how to practice so we can throw them right in there and make sure that they understand what's going on. We are committed to trying to get Colt and John Childs on the field at the same time, son. So we will start working immediately. I do want to say without question that John is still the second team quarterback and will not move from quarterback. Colt will be the starter today just because of the past, and John will be working with the first team some in packages like he did a little bit last year, but at the same time, John will not move away from the quarterback position. There's a lot of excitement as I walked out of my office a few minutes ago. The little website said 26 days, 23 hours, 53 minutes, and 11 seconds till game time. Now, since the game time's not set, I'm not sure how we know exactly what time that means, but that might mean if it was today, and there's a lot of question marks on this football team, so we got 26 days, 23 hours, 53 minutes, 11 seconds to figure them out. But at the same time, the excitement of the new stadium, I would think that this will be the largest crowd in opening day in the history of a football game in the state, maybe the Southwest. Y'all could check that. I did look at it. Penn State's got the largest stadium, Michigan's second, Ohio State's third, Tennessee's fourth, and now we're fifth, with 98,000 that will be at the opening ball game. People have talked repeatedly about us being under the radar. The coaches did pick us 10th in the polls, so only in Texas is that under the radar, and that's a good thing. That means that standard's set really, really high. The schedule's probably the toughest we've had since we've been here in preseason. Understanding we don't know what that means for sure, but 4 of the top 15 teams in the country are on our schedule, and 9 bowl teams. So a lot we've got to get answered, a lot of work we've got to do, and really very little time to do it when you go back to the 26 days. Questions?
If John is going to be on the field more with him and still the number 2 quarterback, does that mean Sherrod doesn't get the reps in practice because John's number 2, or will you give equal reps to 3 quarterbacks?
No, we'll still work. John will get more reps than Sherrod. Sherrod will get some. But John will try to work in that package and still be the second team quarterback. So he'll run a play and then come back, get back in the huddle as a quarterback and run another.
And would he also run plays at wide receiver or running back?
He'll be in a package with Colt.
To be defined package.
You all will define that long before I do. So you get that. I just want suggestions.
Have y'all talked about how many plays you'd like to get in the field?
We'd like to see if it works first. So we're really, we didn't do it in the spring. We're really developing that package as we speak, and we're going to start working on that immediately to see where it goes, simply because John and Colt are 2 of our best players. They're 2 of our most productive players, so we need to see what we can do. And we did feel like that playing both of them at separate times in the bowl game was very productive. So if we can continue to do that, but get John on the field more to get the ball in his hands, that would be a help as well.
Mack, what's your priorities, like if you had to do a to-do list as far as positions? I know it's like find a wide receiver, get some tackle, depth at tackle, safety. I mean, how do you prioritize it?
That's it.
I need a quote from you.
Need a quote from me? I just listen. You start looking at offense first. We feel pretty good about the offensive line 2 deep. So we're in pretty good shape there. Probably better than we've been in a while 2 deep. Not as good as 2005 yet with the front line guys. Quarterbacks, we just discussed that. It's key for us to try to figure out how to use both guys and how to get the most production out of Colt and John. Tight end's a question mark because Peter Allman's really the only guy that's played very much. Wide receivers, you've really got 2 that have played, and a lot of other guys you're looking at. So you've got to find a third one, and you'd like to have 6. And you need to figure out how to separate your tailbacks. So other than offensive line on offense, everything is pretty much up for grabs in some form or fashion. Obviously, Colt's paid his dues at quarterback. Defensively, we'll look at playing guys like Aaron Lewis, who missed the spring inside and outside. So you're trying to build the depth inside and make sure that you don't take too much away from your defensive end group. You've got to settle on linebackers because Sergio was not out there this spring. So Will hasn't seen him at all. And then you've got some young ones to look at. And more importantly, you've got 4 or 5 corners to look at now with a young guy or 2. But really, other than Ishi Ituego, you've got absolutely no experience inside at safety. So safeties are huge, and safety is one of the more complicated places to play on the defense. We've got a new system and a complicated system that we're going to have to make sure those guys can handle. And then you go back to Quan did the kickoff and punt returns. We'd like to have some more depth there. You've got to figure out the kicking got exciting this spring because Justin Tucker's pressing those guys, and he did a good job. And the punting has been wide open. So I'm not sure there's much that is settled as I sit here and talk about it. Sounds scary. I don't know how we got 10.
Well, how are you going to divide, like, who goes out in the morning and who goes out in the afternoon? I mean, is there, like, a cutoff on just all freshmen go in the afternoon? Or?
Yes. The freshmen will go in the afternoons.
The true freshmen?
Yes, because that's really why we're doing it. You would like to separate those guys so you can watch them for 2 days. And the coaches can coach them specifically. It'll be real slow. It'll be like the old freshman practice in the afternoon where you've got 18 guys, and it'll be teaching more than anything else. We felt like the last couple of years that our freshmen get bogged down in numbers and the spirit of practice, and it goes so fast, and the coaches like to work with the ones that know what to do, and the older ones at first. And if you're not careful, that's the ones that get the attention, the ones that can run routes and catch. So we're going to have the young ones watching the old ones. They'll learn. The older ones, we felt like we had great success with the older ones coaching the young ones in the bowl practices. So we're going to allow them to do that tomorrow afternoon and then see where we go from there.
So everybody's required to be at each practice?
Everybody's at every meeting and everybody's at every practice. The NCAA says you can be out there, you can only practice once. So the afternoon group will be in street clothes for the morning practice and vice versa.
You've got no clearinghouse issue, correct?
No.
Right. And no freshman said they absolutely wanted to reach redshirt.
Oh, no. Not in 24 years, probably. But what we've done, they probably don't bring it up now, Kurt, because we tell them that'll be mid-season. If you're not ready to help us win by the 3rd, 4th, 5th ball game, and injuries haven't occurred at your position, and you want a red shirt, we'll try to do that. But if one came today and said, I'd like the red shirt, we wouldn't promise him that at this time. We would tell him, you play like you're not going to red shirt, and then we'll figure it out. One of the problems with a young guy that wants to red shirt is sometimes they don't come in ready to go, and they don't work as hard, and they're not as focused, and then they're behind for spring. So we'd like to take the red shirt mentality out of it 100%.
Mack, is there anyone at corner who would play inside in safety, like Dion or anyone who's cross-training, or do you think it will be?
We would probably only look at that unless we're happy after a week, because right now we're not planning on doing that. I don't have my list in front of me, but that list of Ishi and then a group of young guys right now would be the safeties. Earl Thomas, Christian Scott, Ben Wells, Blake Gideon, Nola Brewster, and I'm sure I'll miss somebody by doing it that way. But and then outside the obvious 4 that have been around for a while are Deion Beasley, Ryan Palmer, Shockey Brown, Curtis Brown, and then you've got A.J. Williams coming in, who you'd like to see get a look too. And our defensive staff is talking about playing a lot of nickel, So that adds a fifth guy, and you can take a corner and move him inside, lock him up man-to-man a lot of times in nickel defense. So we would have our best cover guy there.
You feel like you got a lot of talent in the secondary, just to know that
Yes, we feel like we're as talented as we've been. We're just really, really inexperienced at safety, and that's just a concern.
Coach, what are you talking about the new rules and specifically the 40-second rule and how that'll change your practice starting now?
Yes, we have to look very closely at what the 40-second rule does to time on offense, even more than time on defense. We're fortunate that Will Muschamp coached under that system with the Miami Dolphins, and we used it every snap this spring. And what we found is the more inexperienced quarterbacks that huddled up with two wide receivers in the game and would get to the line of scrimmage and check would have trouble getting the play off. So it's really, really a problem for offenses. We've been told, if you also huddle up and take your time, you're probably going to lose numbers of plays during the game. So we have to look very closely at, can we expand our package with no huddle and run the entire offense with no huddle and get more plays and still be able to do the things we want to do offensively, because obviously most of the time you do huddle up on short yardage and goal line, and so we're looking at all of those things throughout the summer. And now defensively, Will thinks the biggest concern is that there still may be some inconsistency in how a ball's spotted, but there will be less inconsistency. So if Quan Cosby runs a deep route and it's over his head, it's incomplete, they will spot the ball immediately. And if Quan's taking his time getting back, we could have trouble getting the ball off. So on certain deep routes, you may have to substitute to get him out there. Where Will thinks it's a problem for the defense is they're with all of the specialized offensive formations now, and people are rotating more players in than ever before. The officials have been standing over the ball to let the defense get set. And if you send those substitutes in late, within 12 seconds, they could call a delay of game on the offense if the defense can't get set. Well, now, with the ball being spotted so quickly, if you're an offense that sends subs in from the sideline, you send them in late, the official may step off of the ball. If they send substitutes in, he may have to step back over the ball to give the defense a chance to substitute as well. So Will said that could be delayed now, where before it was done pretty quickly.
Coach, what are your goals this week? I mean, is it the basics? Is it information retention? What are you trying to do?
We would like to teach the young ones how to practice, because we haven't seen 9 of them. We would like to find out who they are as much as you can in a practice that will get at least more information to us after you get in pads than it will the first 2 days. And we would like to start looking at where we think guys can be special players, so we could feature them more if they're going to step up and go. You want to see how much better John Childs is throwing the ball since the summer. You want to see what receivers have grown up. You'd like to see, you are excited, I guess, Aaron Lewis, Eddie Jones, Sergio, and Ishii were not in spring practice. So that's 4 defensive players that Will has never seen before except for film. So you want to get him more comfortable with who they are. Then you'd like to continue to work with the 40-second clock to make sure you get all those things in before we get too deep into pads.